or welcome back to my channel. I'm Naysha Nicole, and on my channel I give you guys lifestyle tips, I give you story times, and anything else I want to put on my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to give you guys another story time, another client horror story time that I had in the past and that I thought was pretty crazy, pretty creepy, whatever. I think it's funny now, but yeah, I'm gonna give you guys another client story time. If you guys like story times and you like to hear my stories and my client horror stories, then please do comment down below and subscribe right now so you can be notified every time that I post another story time like this. And you guys, disclaimer with my hair, like obviously, like it's a frizz ball right now. Like I'm in the process of getting it back in order. When I first did change my hair, it looked so cute, but I slept on it wrong. I think I forgot to like wear my bonnet one of these nights. So don't mind the hair, I put a hat on. But I did want to put out a video for you guys because yeah, like it's been long enough. So I wanted to come back with a story time for you guys, so you know, you guys could laugh at some of my client horror stories. My life is a movie basically, so continue watching. Okay you guys, so this client horror story is from the second salon that I worked at. I've worked at 3 salons. The first one you guys knew about from the last story time that I told you guys, and if you haven't checked that video, I'll link it up here. But this is a salon after that salon that I worked in, and I was at the second salon for a few months. I want to say almost 6 months, I'm not really sure. I was at the salon right before the pandemic and all this happened, and then I came back like a month, or I came back when we reopened, and then we ended up having to shut this salon down, or the owner did. And so now I'm at my 3rd salon right now, which I love. And so yeah, let me tell you about this client horror story that I had at this second salon. I'm at work, and normally I'm a closer. I've been a closer like all my life. I've closed at every job I've had, whether it was at a salon, a restaurant, or whatever. I've always been like a closer, and this salon happened to close at around like I believe 5 or 6. And this client happened to come, I believe, right after we reopened, after the shutdown. And just to give you guys like a backstory, so before we closed, we had 7 girls working at this salon. And when we opened back up, only 3 returned. And that's me and 2 other girls, right? So me being a closer, I always close the salon, and the other 2 girls came earlier, and so they left earlier. If you know me personally, you know I don't like to wake up as early, so I was really like that person who volunteered to come at like 11 or 10 in the morning, and then I'll close or whatever, or you know, like work something out like that. So anyways, it's me and the receptionist once this client comes in, and she comes in, I guess she was like a walk-in, and she books an appointment. She's looking for a service of lashes. Never had lashes before, and so the receptionist is giving her like a background of what eyelashes are, and she's telling her who's available, which is me. So you guys, I'm gonna describe how this lady looked, right? So she came in, you guys, it's hot. The city I live in, it's hot. You know, we're in the desert where I am, and it doesn't get cold until like later, like way later in the year. And so this particular day, it was hot as hell, and she came in with these baggy sweats. She came in with like a sweater, had like a do-rag on, and some tennis shoes, like looking real hood, which is whatever, because sometimes I be looking hood sometimes too. But she looked like, you know, like she was dressed for the winter. And I'm just like, okay, well, whatever, like, let me not judge her off of her appearance, which I didn't, but I was just like, okay, that's kind of weird. So just give you guys like a background of the moment we were in and what she kind of looked like, you know, my first impression, which wasn't a bad impression. I was just kind of like, all right, well, that's the first thing that popped in my head. Like, why is this girl dressed up in winter clothes? You know, then I'm like, whatever about it. So you guys, I then, after the receptionist came up to me and told me, hey, a lady just walked in, she wants this and whatever, like, so I go and I give her a consult, and I sit down and talk with her, and I explain what I can do, and you know, I got a good understanding of what she wanted. Mind you, it's her first time, so she said she didn't want nothing too crazy, but she wanted to, you know, make it noticeable. So we agreed on a hybrid or a mixed set. Okay, boom, like, you're gonna do a hybrid set on this girl and it's gonna be cool or whatever. So then I get her in my chair. At this time, the receptionist will leave at like 3 p.m. and I was staying closed at around like 5 or 6 while my manager was in the office. So basically I was running the front and being a lash artist at the same time, which that's a whole nother story, but you know, that was what I was doing when the receptionist would leave at her time, like at 3 p.m. And so now I have her in my chair. It's just me, her, and the manager in the office. And so, which is cool, it's fine. Like, you know, I actually like being in an area and it's just me and my client, and you know, we're just vibing and I'm lashing and I'm doing my thing without anyone else really like staring or looking at me. You could talk shit with your client and it's just no one really knows what's going on with your conversation like that. So it was cool. We were talking about like whatever. She starts telling me about, you know, why she wants her lashes done. She had met this girl that she like was really vibing with and like really liked on this, like, I want to say an app or like online or something like that, which I thought was really cool because, you know, my generation now, like a lot of people are doing that online dating stuff, which, you know, I'm totally down for. No, I'm not, but yeah, so I thought it was cool as whatever. And so I think she was feeling a little like self-conscious, or she felt, or I must have looked at her funny when she walked in, which was not on purpose at all. But she just randomly was saying, oh yeah, and I don't always dress like this. I just happen to dress like this when I have to be on this side of town. She goes, I don't have a car, I walk here, and all this kind of stuff. You know, normally when I have clients come in my chair, like, it's like I get to know my girls, like they tell me their life stories, like we vibe, like, you know. And so I think she just felt comfortable with just talking and blurting shit out, which was cool. And yeah, so she was like, I normally don't dress like this, like I'm on this side of town, blah blah blah, and we're in a good area. So I'm just like, okay, whatever, girl. Like, so, you know, me being me, like, I'm like, okay, well, since she's so comfortable like telling me about this and that and about her new boo thing, and we're talking shit, you know, I'm like, well, let me ask her why she's even on this side of town, because she says she doesn't even live on this side of town. And she tells me she has to take like anger management classes, y'all. And I'm like, are you like voluntarily taking these anger management classes, or you have to take it? Because sometimes I don't know, I've never gotten in trouble like that.
You lying? Why you always lying?
But sometimes when you get in trouble by the law, you guys, you go to court off of something violent, like they make you do community service and anger management classes and stuff like that. Don't ask me how I know that, but I know. So I was like, okay, well, is it something you want to fix with your life? Is that why you want to take these classes? And yeah, you guys, like, no, that wasn't it. She got in a fight with her ex-girlfriend, and I guess she had to take these anger management classes per her like court agreement or whatever. So I was like, yo, when she told me this, I was like, yo, I'm in a room by myself with this lady, like, you know, hopefully she don't have an episode and trip out on me or something. Now, mind you guys, I am dramatic, and I've said that before. So I'm like, let me chill out, because, you know, I'm dramatic, but I'm really like observant as well. So I'm like, let me chill out. It might have been just a bad moment in her life. It might have been her ex-girlfriend's fault. Like, I don't know, you know? So I'm like, oh yeah, girl, what happened? Just so I know, like, okay, whose fault was it? So she tells me what happened, and she tells me how she got in a fight with her girlfriend, and she was like, it wasn't my fault, I swear. Like, I was trying to break up with her, and she didn't want to break up with me, and I had to come and get my stuff, and so I brought my cousin with me, and like, she told me all this story. It's like, so I brought my cousin with me to make sure nothing else crazy happened, because I guess they were in a toxic relationship, whatever. And she said the ex-girlfriend was just talking mad shit to her, and so they got into a fight. They got into it, and I guess supposedly the story didn't make sense to me. The police came because of the ex-girlfriend called the police, or was telling people to call the police, and they was still fighting, y'all. They was fighting on and off, I guess, and the police came and grabbed her ass. So I'm like, well, if it wasn't your fault and you was like the victim, like, wouldn't they take the ex-girlfriend, or wouldn't they take both of you? Why were you the only one who got, you know, sent to jail, who got caught up? So I don't know. I was just like, yeah, girl. So she wouldn't just flip out on my ass. Like, so I'm like, yeah, girl, that's what happened. That's crazy. And so, yeah, I was just like trying to change the subject. I'm like, so what happened after that? So whatever she said, they squashed it, and the ex-girlfriend apologized, but she still has to go through like the whole community service or anger management classes or whatever. So that's the reason why she was even in that area, and she just so happened to walk by and see a sign in like our door that we had at the salon. So then, y'all, I'm trying to change the subject, and I'm like, oh yeah, so girl, isn't it so crazy how we got shut down? Like, this is my hometown. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, whatever, you know, trying to like, you know, change the subject, because that was just like a very like crazy ass fucking story she just told me. So she's like, yeah, girl. And then she was like telling me how like she missed her life before, which I missed my life before too. And so I like vibed off of her with that. And she was saying how she was a stripper before the whole shutdown. And I was like, oh yeah, girl, I got hella friends who are in like the industry. Like, you guys, I did say this before, I have friends who are strippers, webcam girls. I have friends who are bartenders, cocktail waitresses. Like, a good amount of my homegirls that I grew up with are in that industry. So if you don't like girls like that, do hop off of my page, because those are my girls. I love them. So anyways, back to the story. Yeah, so she told me she used to dance or whatever, and besides her wearing these baggy clothes and these sweatpants and all this, you know, heavy like winter wear, she was a pretty girl. Like, let me just say that she was a pretty girl. And so it could have been she was covering up her body because she didn't want to get hit on or something like that. You know, she's like walking. She said she didn't have a car. So then she starts asking me about the girls that I work with. I worked with 2 other girls that were cool as fuck. So I'm like, yeah, those girls are cool. Like, you know, we help each other out, whatever. Literally, you guys, this second salon, me and those 3 girls held that salon down like before it closed. And that's on period. And so anyway, she then starts asking me about my manager or whatever. And honestly, every salon I've worked at, I've had clients ask me about my coworkers, my managers, how I like them, how they treat me, which I don't know why people do that. But just know, like, it wouldn't make sense for me to like work for a company that I'm not happy for and that I'm going to talk bad about my coworkers or anything like that. It doesn't make sense to me. So anyways, I didn't tell her about my manager a little bit because she kept asking questions about him, like, oh, how is he? Or how does he look and stuff like that, y'all. And so I was just like, not even thinking anything of it because I'm kind of ditzy anyways. But I'm just like describing my manager to her, and I'm like, yeah, girl, like, he's all right, but you know, he's a little snappy sometimes. And she like tries to defend my manager. Never met this man, never anything. So I'm looking at her like, girl, do you know him? Like, am I talking some, you know, mess about your sugar daddy or something? Like, what's going on? And so, which really I wasn't talking shit. I was just like, he's cool sometimes. He, you know, he be tripping sometimes too, like every other manager or whatever. So she's like, no, I'm just saying, like, you know, maybe he acts like that because of this and that, whatever. And so after a while, we keep talking, we keep vibing or whatever a little bit, because then it started getting weird. I don't remember what we were talking about, but I remember she tried to snap on me, and I had to kind of check her, like, girl, like, if you feel uncomfortable, if I said something wrong you didn't like, you can tell me, let me know, and we can stop the service. You can pay for whatever I did on you, which at this time we had been talking for a minute, and I was almost done with her, so she was gonna pay me. And I said, you can go on your way, or you can come back later and get filled in by one of my other coworkers, like, whatever, if that's what you want to do, if I'm making you feel uncomfortable. Then she's all like, no, girl, I'm just saying, like, da-da-da-da, like, I've had a bad week or whatever, or, you know, stuff like that, trying to, like, stay in my chair and finish the service and, like, be kind to me after, like, I said that. And, stood up for myself. Like, y'all, after that first client that I had at the last salon, from the first story time I told y'all about, like I said, no client could like talk shit, try to scam me, get over on me or anything. I was gonna cut that shit. It was never gonna happen again with another client. So anything, I proceeds to like, finish my service with her. We keep talking. Yeah, it was all cool. Like after like the whole service or whatever, I took pictures of her lashes because I figured like, okay, she was kind of weird. We were cool, but she's kind of snapped a little bit, and then I had to say something. So I'm like, let me just take pictures, like evidence. Like lash artists, beginner lash artists, or any lash artist, make sure you take pictures of all your clients because you don't want them to come back and try to lie or complain about anything, right? And then let me also put this out there because I had to learn this within like my first year. Whether or not you think you're super cool with the client, like this client, we were vibing and we were like connecting on certain things and stuff like that in the beginning, and then she kind of got weird and kind of snapped on me. You guys, remember, as a lash artist or anyone in the beauty industry that has to deal with clients, know that even if your client is cool as fuck in the beginning and you're vibing, you guys are like, having a good conversation, you think this is a cool person, just know that's a client. Still keep it professional. Talk to them like, yeah, that's the homegirl that's paying me, as she should. But never get too personal with your clients because then they get offended. You don't know what really they think in their mind. They might have something mentally wrong with them, whatever. Like, never get too personal with your clients. And I had to learn that. So anyways, I'm done with the girl. I take her to the front. I text my manager who's in the office and I'm like, okay, I'm done. Can you close her out? Which I knew how to do it. I just didn't want to fucking do it because I'm like, if this girl tries to say something about a discount or something, and bitch, I'm not doing it. Like, let my manager handle it, right? So I end up calling him like, hey, I'm done with this service. Can you close her out? Like, I'm getting a weird vibe from her. Because I would definitely let someone know just in case some shit goes down and I be looking crazy. Like, oh, Naysha, why you handle it that way? Well, let me tell you what happened, So I just let him know, hey, this client's ready. I'm getting a weird vibe from her, so come and close her out. So my manager comes to the front. He's like, hi, how are you doing? Like, as a like normal manager, And she's like all in his face, you guys, smiling, trying to like have a conversation, spark a conversation up, you guys. My manager had a girlfriend at the time, and he's super professional. And so he's looking at her like, what the fuck, And my petty ass is like laughing and giggling in the back because I'm already knowing, like, already got a hint as to like what she was doing because she was asking me all these questions about the manager. And I was like, girl, do you know him? She said no. So I'm like, okay, she probably like his type, So she's trying to flirt with the manager, and he's like, all right, like, sign this right here. And he's like, Renee, put that in there, like, whatever, and went back into his office because he didn't want to deal with her, right? So anyways, I'm like, all right, girl, have a good day, like, whatever. And then she's like, oh, girl, he's cute. And I'm looking at her like, oh, bitch, like, bye, girl. So, okay, she leaves. I see her in 2 weeks, and I end up lashing her again. This time, she's way more cool, like, way more kinder. There's no, like, tension or anything, whatever. So, but at this time, she did come earlier. So it was the receptionist and the two other girls that I worked with, and they had clients. And I don't know if she just didn't want to act crazy in front of everybody else or what the case was, but she came back really cool. And I ended up lashing her. So we ended up talking and, like, just casual talk and about her girlfriends and how that whole situation went when she went out to whatever state she went to go visit her and meet her or whatever. And like her stomach starts growling, y'all. That's pretty normal because I feel like us women, like, we go through certain shit like that should be normal, like your stomach growling, and we just think it's so embarrassing, but really it's like, bitch, you're hungry, it's fine. So her stomach starts growling, so I say nothing because I'm like, whatever, that's very much normal. So then we're still like talking, and I think she wanted to get an outfit for something she was going to. Like, yeah, I have to go to the mall and see if I could find an outfit for this event, whatever. And she said, do you think you could give me a ride or whatever? And she was like, I'll give you gas money and I'll give you food or whatever. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, bitch, you're not getting in my car. I don't know you. Like, and actually, I think it was my stomach that was growling. Like, not her stomach. It was my stomach that was growling. Which I think is whatever. I think it's normal. Like, if I'm lashing and my stomach is growling, then just know I've been working my ass off all day. I'm hungry. And I think that's why she said, I'll give you food. And I do love food. I'm a foodie. And so that was tempting. But, like, fuck no, you're not getting in my car. That's weird. So, yeah, you guys, she proceeds to ask me if I can give her a ride and that she'll give me gas money and buy me food. And, like, basically she wanted me to, you know, go shopping with her. And I just kind of felt bad. Like, a part of me felt bad to say no. But then a part of me, the smart part of me, was like, girl, you don't fucking know her. And she just snapped on you, like, the first time and was acting weird and whatever, you know what I mean? And the other side of me was like, damn, like, she didn't have anybody else to go with her. Like, you have to ask me. You just met me for the second time. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm like, no, that's weird. Like, you know, you don't ask just anybody for a ride to go to anywhere. Like, that's weird. Like, you just met me. So I don't know if she thought I was just that cool as fuck, or if I don't know what the fuck she thought she was doing with me asking me for a ride. And I love my car. Like, hell no. I don't know if that was a setup, bitch. I don't know. You just told me you was going to anger management classes for beating your ex-girlfriend up. Then you snapped on me right after you told me that. Like, nah, I'm good. And you guys, I had to tell her no like 2 times, like a good 2 times, because the first time I tried to ignore it, y'all. Like, I tried to ignore it and laugh it off because it was just awkward for me. And she asked me again, and I was like, no, girl, it ain't gonna happen. I had to make up some lie. I don't even know. I think I probably did just tell her, no, girl, and like kind of made a joke about it. But I was like, what the fuck? That's weird. So you guys, she leaves, right? Everything is good. And I'm just like, damn, what the fuck? I can't believe that has happened to me. And mind you guys, at this time, I still haven't hit like my 1 year of me lashing. So I didn't know if that was like normal, you know, but my gut feeling was telling me like that shit was weird. So me being like the newbie that I was at the time, I go to the 2 lash artists that I had worked with, and they've been lashing for some years, like, you know, some vets. So I was like, you guys, like, is that shit normal? Like, do clients ask you for rides and offer you food? Like, is that normal? And then they're like, no, girl, that's not normal. Not for a regular client, not for a new client. Like, that shit was weird. And I wasn't trying to, like, my intention is not to talk shit about this client, but I was just like, I need to learn, you know, so I don't get caught up in no crazy shit like with a lash client. That's weird. So yeah, you guys, she comes back a 3rd time, and I'm thinking to myself, like, damn, this girl, you know, she could just be a client. Like, you know, she listens to me, like, coming back every 2 weeks or whatever. Like, honestly, at this time, I wasn't, you know, being a newbie, I wasn't like getting my set super full. I was still working on my time. And so when clients would come back to me like every 2 weeks or listen to me and like come when I tell them, then, you know, I just figured they like my conversation. Like, I talk a lot, like I talk a lot of shit, no. But I just figured they like my conversation. My work has always been clean, but I still did need to work on like the fullness and my time at the time. At this time and moment, I did get a lot better. I'll post some pictures up here. She comes back a 3rd time. And this time, you guys, she didn't pre-book like I tell her. And like, I tell clients all the time, pre-book if you can, because there might be a week that the salon is super busy and packed, and you're gonna be upset because you might have slept on your lashes, or you might have been crying over your shitty boyfriend, or you might have just forgot you had lashes on and rubbed your eye when you were drunk. Like, you need to pre-book your appointments, because then you know you have a set appointment and that's your day that you're gonna get your fill. Well, homegirl in a sweatsuit forgot to freaking pre-book her appointment, and she comes in as a walk-in, but she did, this is her 3rd time. So I'm just like, okay, she's cool, whatever, on that level. So she comes back a third time, didn't pre-book her appointment, so she's as a walk-in. Mind you, I have a client in my chair. I'm lashing my client. Then the two other girls are lashing their clients. I think one was about to get done and she was about to go home because she's like always the first one there in the morning. And then the second one was going on break after the client she was finished with, and then had a client right after that. So no one had time to do this girl, right? She comes to the receptionist and she's like, hey, hi, like, I'm here for an appointment, like, or whatever, for a fill. And she's like, okay, like, the receptionist's like, all right, like, let me see what I have available for you. And she looked, she said, well, we're all booked for the day, right? And so she's like, do you want to schedule for tomorrow? Like, we have more opening for tomorrow. Y'all, she's like, no, like, I don't have a car. She tells the receptionist, I don't have a car, like, I only come here once a week. I think that's when her anger management classes are, once a week. So she's like, I just can't come here tomorrow because this is the day that I have available. And the receptionist, and she's like, well, look, you know, we're all booked. And she's being very fucking kind, our receptionist, right, at the time. We're really booked today, like, this is the first available I have for tomorrow. And she hasn't to keep repeating this to her or whatever. And she's all like, oh, you just don't have anything? And so I'm in a salon, you guys, with a big old, like, it's like you're in a big room with recliner chairs, right? Again, this is the second salon that has happened to me where I'm in a big ass room with recliner chairs, and like, it's just so free. Everyone hears your conversation. And all it takes is for you to turn your head and look at who's here. She decides to walk past the receptionist's desk and look around the corner to see who was actually working. I don't know if she thought our receptionist was a liar or whatever. She probably did, because she's fucked up, obviously, in the head. And she like walks past the receptionist table and she sees me working, because I'm hearing this whole conversation. Mind you, we're in a big ass room. And I look up and I'm like, hi, like, what's up, girl? You see me working? Like, that's what the receptionist said, you know? So she looks over at the other girls. They're working. Like, we're only three. Like, that's it, you know? She was like, okay, well, what about this girl? What about that girl? Right? One of the times she went to me twice, but I remember one of the times she went to another one of the lash artists, and they ended up doing like a volume set on her because she wanted something fuller, because she said I did a hybrid on her and it was light. Like, she wanted something full. Like I said before, I had to work on my my fullness and my time. So yeah, I think she did go to one of the other lash artists that I worked with. And so she looked over at her and was like, well, what about her? Receptionist again tells her, like, no, girl, like, everyone's booked. So then she goes, okay, well, thank you, have a good day. And she's like, I'll just call tomorrow or whatever. Like, she leaves. Y'all, tell me why this girl comes back not even 10 minutes later, and I'm still lashing my client. The two girls just got finished with their client. One of them closed the client out, walked her out, and the other one was in the break room eating. And she comes back, doesn't say shit to the receptionist, but goes and sits down in our like lobby area. She comes and sits down, and she just sits there and like does nothing, doesn't say anything, nothing. And like, I can look at her directly from where my chair was, my workstation, and look at her in her face, and she was just looking around. So then I hear my receptionist get up and go over there, and she's all like, hi, can I help you? Are you okay? The lady is like, yeah, I just need a lash fill. And I'm just like, what the fuck? And I can hear the receptionist tell her, well, I just told you, like, and you can hear her voice kind of straining, like getting weirded out. You know, when you're having a conversation with someone and they just say some off the wall shit, and you're kind of like, well, that's how the receptionist was talking to her. She's like, well, I just told you we're booked for the day. You can book for tomorrow. So anyways, at this time, I'm just thinking like, okay, this is some weird shit, obviously, you know? And I think the receptionist is getting kind of weirded out about it, which I like felt bad for her, because she has to deal with the crazy clients who like flip out and act weird and like do dumb shit, which thank God I'm not a receptionist. Like, I don't think I have the personality for a receptionist, and that's okay. And so the lady asks her, well, since those two are busy, me and the other lash artist who had done her before, since those two are busy, can I speak to the other lash artist? And you guys, I don't know if the receptionist was allowed to do this or what the protocol is for this situation, because I don't think none of this has ever happened to us where we have a client coming back and forth and just throwing a tantrum. I don't know. But the receptionist goes and gets the other lash artist, like the third lash artist, and basically told her, hey, there's a client that wants to talk to you. Like, mind you guys, they know about this client. Like, everyone in the salon but the manager knew about this client because obviously if I'm weirded out and I have questions, I'm gonna like ask my coworkers. I'm gonna figure out what should I do so I know how to handle this situation. So they knew about this lady who was asking me to give her rides, who was trying to hit on the manager. They knew about her. But this particular lash artist, which she's like cool as shit, she's my homegirl, is one of the sweetest people I ever met in my life. And I was just like, yo, if she says some fucked up shit to her, I'm a trip, you know, because I'm a little feisty. The third lash artist comes to the lobby area, you guys, and speaks to this lady. She's like, hi, my name is so-and-so. Like, how may I help you? And she was like, hi, I'm so-and-so. I just need a lash fill, she said. Like, as if we didn't fucking, like, know that already, or as if the receptionist had not told her 100 times. And, she kind of was like, well, I'm booked all day. Like, she was super professional. Like, I'm booked all day. I have an availability tomorrow. And she says, okay, well, what's your name again? Like, I swear to God, you guys, she had a whole nother personality, 360, from time she was speaking to the receptionist and trying to get, like, you know, give the receptionist a little attitude and like ignore her and everything, from the time she was speaking to the third lash artist. Anyway, she ends up leaving again after that. Lashes are still not filled, so I don't know what the whole purpose of that shit was, to come back a second time. Like, I don't know if this lady thought we were bullshitting her or if we just didn't want to do her. You guys, me as a person, if I don't like a lash client, I'm gonna tell you then and there, I'm probably not the lash artist for you. We're not vibing, we're not connecting. I'm gonna tell you and be professional, and I'm gonna say it in a professional way. I wouldn't bullshit you, waste your time, because I don't like my time wasted. So that was definitely not the case. Like, yeah, she was a little weird, like, given, like, I think everyone's a little weird, but she was way the fuck off. But we wouldn't like treat her rudely or not want to like take her service, or like, especially after a pandemic. Like, fuck, all the salons are kind of slowing down right after a pandemic, you know. And so I don't know if she thought we were trying to like bullshit her and be fucked up and not just do her, but like, you know, that definitely was not the case. But honestly, you guys, anyone who's listening to this, whether you're a new beginner lash artist, which I consider myself still kind of new, whether you're a lash artist who have been in the game for a minute, or even if you're a nail tech, hairstylist, whatever, if you're in the beauty industry and a client weirds you out or creeps you out, gives you bad vibes, like your gut feeling is telling you like, don't take this client, fuck the money, like whatever, I think it's our right to like decline a client. If I feel uncomfortable and I feel like you're gonna like harm me, or you're on some weird shit, or like, I don't know, like you're just giving me bad vibes, something's off about you, I think it's my right to not service you, and I think it's okay. Like, I know there's a lot of lash artists who would take any client and all money is good money to them, and all money is not good money. Like, obviously in this situation, yes, this lady's still paid, she tipped, I'm grateful for whatever tip, I don't remember the tip amount, but I remember her paying the amount and tipping. I'm grateful for all that. And yes, she did come back every 2 weeks and she was consistent, but the energy and the vibe was off. Like, when she left that salon that day, after leaving and coming back and just acting a fucking fool up in the salon in front of my client that I had, like, one, that makes your salon looks bad too. That just gives a whole weird vibe to everyone in the salon. After that day, it was just like, what the fuck, is she gonna come back again? I think we were all paranoid, all three of us and the receptionist. I think we were all paranoid, like, okay, is she gonna come back? Like, y'all know she's in anger management. Did she complete her fucking program? Like, we didn't know. But no, guys, she ended up not coming back again. And even after that, the receptionist was like, if she even calls back, I'm gonna have to tell her that we can't take her anymore. She never called back. And that was like a lesson learned that I learned from another crazy ass client. This story time, you guys, this client did like her service every time. Even though she wanted something fuller, she still liked her service. So this is like a different story time from the last one or whatever. But this client was, I think something mentally was wrong with her. I don't know what's wrong with her. And like I said before, after the first client that I had, the first asshole client that I had the first time, no other client could like take me like completely out of my character. No client can make me feel uncomfortable like how, you know, the first client did or whatever. So literally, I was weirded out, you guys, but I was laughing about this shit. I'm like, yo, this shit is fucking crazy. Like, is this normal? You know what I mean? So, yeah. So if you guys like this story time, do comment down below, like this video, and subscribe to the channel. If you like my client horror stories, please do let me know, and I'll give you guys some more. I do have a handful more of these client horror stories that I had to deal with within my first year, which end up being life lessons learned or whatever. So yeah, I'm very grateful for these crazy clients because I came out, you know, unharmed, and I came out with the money and with the lessons, so it's all Gucci. You guys, check out my last video, and yeah, I'll check you guys in the next video. Bye.